Hello everyone, this is Meenakshi Narula, founder and CEO at Mentoring the Mentors, an institute that accelerates your learning curve. At our platform, we keep on sharing with you wonderful, innovative, pedagogical strategies so that you can accelerate your professional learning curve and can bring that kind of excitement, engagement, enrichment in your classes. Nowadays, we have been talking about metacognition. Metacognition, we say thinking about thinking. जागरूकता किसके बारे में अपनी सोच के बारे में अपनी सोचने की प्रक्रिया के बारे में जागरूकता हम कैसे सोचते हैं कैसे हम चीजों को अंडरस्टैंड करते हैं कैसे हम कौन सी चीजें हैं जो हमें होल्ड करती हैं आगे नहीं बढ़ने देती कौन सी चीज है जिसके ऊपर हमें वर्क करना है वी वुड लाइक टू टॉक अबाउट दैट बिकॉज वी वांट टू फोस्टर आवर स्टूडेंट्स लर्निंग वी वांट आवर स्टूडेंट्स टू टेक ओनर्स ऑफ देयर लर्निंग हमारे बच्चों को कोई एक्सट्रिंसिक फैक्टर्स की जरूरत नहीं होनी चाहिए थोड़ा बहुत ठीक है प्रेज रिकमेंडेशन मोटिवेशन इज रिक्वायर्ड बट जब वो बच्चों को उनके पास इंट्रिंसिक मोटिवेशन होगा अंदर से ही दे वुड बी मोटिवेटेड एंड दे विल गेट टू नो how they can foster their learning they will take owners of their learning and we need not to time and again remind them like पढ़ना चाहिए ये करना चाहिए ये कर लो वो कर लो they will take the owners of their learning they are the 21st century learners and for them we have to become 21st century educators my lovely educators in today's video we're going to talk about end of the lesson metacognitive reflection activity और kind of evaluation activity जब हमारा एक chapter एक topic class में खत्म होता है तो उससे बाद हम क्लास में किस तरीके की एक्टिविटी कंडक्ट कर सकते हैं सो दैट आवर चिल्ड्रन दे कैन गेट टू नो मोर अबाउट देयर लर्निंग राइट सो वी गोना टॉक अबाउट दिस we'll be conducting the same as a kind of four corner activity right you can watch four corner activity at my channel number of strategies have been mentioned there too but today we're going to focus on metacognition so here you go my lovely educators at the end of the chapters in the end of the topic you can spare 5 to 10 minutes to conduct this activity this is student reflection activity for metacognition as I've already explained metacognition means thinking deeply about how you learn the best जब हमारे बच्चों को यही पता चल जाएगा वो कैसे अच्छा पढ़ सकते हैं कैसे अच्छा सीख सकते हैं so we'll be able to foster their learning right so their learning will be facilitated so my dear educators as we always say if the children they cannot understand the way you teach them the way they understand so now you might be thinking for a 40 student strength that's present in a class it is difficult for a teacher to teach in a different ways for all 40 students they will be understanding in a different way for that we have to incorporate various strategies in our classroom for various learning styles right videos audios you understand that I'm learning by doing art integration we are already doing for the visual learners kinesthetic learners we are integrating different subjects to sports integration is there so we are already catering to the different learners right but we have to plan our lessons in that manner so that we'll be able to bring different you see learning styles different varieties of teaching different pedagogical activities we have to add in our lesson so in today's lesson without further ado, we're going to talk about metacognitive reflection. For that, what you have to do. So as you can read on the screen, the aim of this activity is to reflect on what helped you learn this lesson and what held you back. So you need to ask your children about this. So my lovely educators, what you have to do, you need to guide your students like I, being a teacher, going to ask you a few questions. You need to move to the different corners of the room to indicate which answer is the best. And any questions you have, you can ask the teacher, ask me when I'm acting as a teacher in front of you. You may ask me any kind of questions before we go ahead with this activity. So I will be sharing with you 4 options, right, for each parameter. So my lovely educators, either you can just write with the help of a marker on a piece of chart paper so that you can display the same on a display board in your class. Or if you have smartboard in your class, you can show these options on the slide, right, on your smartboard so that you can ask your children about their understanding, right? So here you go. So first of all, if we want to know what was the biggest obstacle to learning in today's lesson, we want to know. There are different areas, there are different subtopics, maybe topics, maybe another concepts. The children, they were not able to understand. So we want to know about that. So on the screen, there are 4 options. You can create your own options as well. I am just giving you an idea about it. So as you can see here on the screen, I will guide my students, like there are 4 options. They have to move to the 4 corners of the room. Either you can display these points also at the 4 corners, right? So according the children, they can move and they can stand at the different corners. And this should be followed by an explanation, a discussion, like about the point, about the topic, about the parameter chosen by them. Okay, तो आपने क्या किया, 4 कॉर्नर्स पे या तो इन्हीं पॉइंट्स को डिस्प्ले कर देंगे या आपने स्क्रीन पर दिखाया है. अकॉर्डिंगली यू मे आस्क योर चिल्ड्रन कि ये पॉइंट्स वाले बच्चे back of the classroom, different corners पे जाएंगे, and these points, they will be going to the different corners of the room. Or you can label the corner also 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. That is your choice. So I'm just going to share with you a few pointers. I was distracted by irrelevant thoughts and emotions and found it difficult to concentrate. Right? So बहुत बार होता है कि बच्चों के माइंड में कुछ irrelevant thoughts आ जाते हैं. Emotionally, they are not in a position to understand, to concentrate in the class. So you'll be going to that corner of the room. I had low levels of energy, effort, or motivation, right? We generally observe in our classes, बच्चों का कई बार एनर्जी लेवल बहुत कम होता है. हम पूछते हैं कई बार खाना नहीं खाया है क्या बच्चे आज क्लास में आए हो. सो मोटिवेशन नहीं होता कई बार बच्चों में. उसका रीजन हमें फाइंड आउट भी करना है कि why the child is not motivated to learn, what is holding the child back, right? So we need to ask our children. Now, my own attitude and the behavior was an obstacle to learning. बहुत बार ऐसे केसेस होते हैं क्लास में, जो बच्चे होते हैं उनमें कुछ पहले से ही कुछ ऐसे थॉट्स होते हैं, वो न्यू थॉट्स को रिसीव नहीं करते, उसको परसीव नहीं करते, उसको इम्प्लीमेंट नहीं करते. तो देयर ओन थॉट्स, देयर ओन बिहेवियर, एटीट्यूड कैन बी अ प्रॉब्लम टू देयर लर्निंग. ऑब्वियसली इस चीज के लिए बच्चे आगे फॉरवर्ड आते नहीं हैं. वी नीड टू आस्क देम. अगर कहीं ना कहीं आप ये पॉइंट शेयर करोगे तो एटलीस्ट बच्चे के मन में तो आएगा कि दिस माइट बी द रीजन, right? So we want to inculcate those kinds of feelings in our children, right? They should take onus of their learning. जब तक उनको पता नहीं चलेगा what is holding them back, how will they improve? I found the learning activities were not suited to my learning style. I find it easier to learn in a different way. Here we go. I'm talking about various learning styles. बहुत बार हम क्लास में बच्चे, बीइंग अ पेडागोजिकल लीडर, बच्चे मेरे पास आते हैं, दे आस्क कि मैम ये पहले टीचर थे, बहुत अच्छा पढ़ाते थे, अभी जो न्यू टीचर हैं मे बी वो सिर्फ एक थ्योरेटिकली क्लास में लेक्चर दे के चले जाते हैं. ही और शी डज नॉट इन्वॉल्व आस इन डिफरेंट काइंड्स ऑफ एक्टिविटीज, डिस्कशन में इन्वॉल्व नहीं करते, हमसे कुछ पूछते नहीं हैं. So that is a kind where of teaching learning process where students, they become the passive listeners. Passive होंगे तो class में engage नहीं हो पाएंगे, right? So I mean the children, they will be able to explain their learning style. So we need to ask our children, what was the biggest obstacle to learning in today's lesson, right? So shall we go to the next slide? Okay. So what best describes your style of thinking in this lesson, right? So what is a child's thinking style? If I say, my thinking was muddy, unclear, I would struggle to even describe and recall the main learning points from the lesson. कि lesson में जो टीचर ने मुझे टॉपिक्स एक्सप्लेन करे हैं, समझाया है, but still is unclear. अनक्लियर, इतना कुछ अच्छे से समझ नहीं आया, थोड़ा सा पता है बट आई कैन नॉट एक्सप्लेन. वो 3 लाइट स्ट्रेटजी जैसे जो बात करते हैं, ग्रीन इज गुड टू गो, you see red is बिल्कुल समझ नहीं आया, and yellow is, I mean, you have got some doubts and you want to clear those doubts to go ahead with that. Okay, so this is one point, and another is I could describe and recall the main learning points and the key information from the lesson. कुछ बच्चों का लेवल इतना होगा कि वो कुछ जो मेन पॉइंट्स हैं वो सारे एक्सप्लेन कर सकते हैं, बट उसके आगे क्या, व्हाट नेक्स्ट. सो हियर इज द नेक्स्ट लेवल. I could outline and explain the main learning points from today's lesson. I could apply what I have learned to new contexts and connect with other ideas. जो बच्चे ने क्लास में समझा है, द चाइल्ड इज एबल टू फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल जॉट डाउन क्या क्या समझा है, उसको एक्सप्लेन भी कर पाते हैं बच्चे, और उसको अपनी प्रीवियस नॉलेज के साथ में उसको कनेक्ट भी कर सकते हैं. कनेक्शंस जो है वो बहुत जरूरी है फॉर रिटेंशन ऑफ नॉलेज, right? So that they'll be able to apply the same in the real life too. So what is the next level? I was able to analyze and evaluate the main concepts from today's lesson. I thought deeply about the ideas. I enjoyed thinking critically about what we were taught. So if you see it clearly, these are the four different levels, right? Four different levels are there. We can also label them as uh, beginner, intermediate, next is excellent, and maybe proficient, right? In rubrics we design, we share the different levels of understanding with our students. So this is the kind of rubric, and we want to understand our children's learning style, right? About the your style of thinking in this lesson. क्या आप सोचते हो इसके बारे में, कितना आपको समझ में आया है, कितना आप implement कर सकते हैं. Okay, I really love to implement these things in my classes. Do you, please, I want you also to share your feedback in this comment section below. So here you go. The next is, which of the following would boost your learning power the most? कि आपकी learning power को boost क्या करेगा, right? So I need to get more sleep. I am not getting my 8 hours sleep, and so I'm feeling tired in the class. बच्चों को खुद पता होता है. You see, even when I asked my child, he even shared कि today in the class, even I dozed off. And the teacher told me, why are you sleepy and like that? Because he said, last night I was awake for quite a long time. I was busy doing some task and all. Use it happens. So children should be able to understand that proper sleep is also required to be active the next day in the class. And the next is, I should improve my diet so that my brain is properly nourished. Children nowadays, they love to have junk food, fast food. Okay, they even do not realize how much sugar they intake. I mean, so this is how we need to make them realize, right, what was actually the thing that held them back in the class. I should lead a more active lifestyle. Regular exercise would be good for my brain health and energy levels. Next is, I need to practice metacognitive skills and would boost learning such as organizational skills, reading skills, listening skills, and note-taking skills. So now you have given options to your students. They'll be choosing as per whatever they are feeling, right? जो वो महसूस कर रहे हैं, जिस stage से वो गुजर रहे हैं, whatever they are observing, whatever they are doing, accordingly they'll choose the point. And इसके बाद follow up भी होगा. ये नहीं कि वहाँ पे अलग-अलग different corners में खड़े हो गए और बात खत्म हो गई. You can encourage discussion also. You can talk to them. What is your plan? ये आप कर रहे हो, आपको लगता है ये करना. How will you do that? What is the roadmap? So they can discuss with each other, or being you as an educator, you can facilitate the discussion, okay? Or you can ask them to go ahead with think, pair, share strategy. चार बच्चे इस corner में गए हैं. So when they are thinking, okay, we need to work on our organizational skills, note taking skills, उन्होंने बोला. अब वो आपस में डिस्कस करेंगे how they can improve their note taking or organization skills, and then they will be sharing with the other group as well. So this is how you can conduct the same. एक दिन में सारी activities नहीं कर सकते, तो at least different lessons में you can go ahead with different options. So now, which best describes your state of the mind? Okay, so state of the mind को क्या उनका describe कर रहा है? I was focused and started with a positive attitude, but lost momentum as the lesson went on. बहुत बार ऐसा होता है ना, बच्चों को 40 मिनट के पीरियड के लिए एंगेज करके रखना बहुत ही मुश्किल है, और ऊपर से जब ब्लॉक पीरियड आ जाए या मे बी सबसे हमारा उसी क्लास में लग जाए, तो हमें लगता है कि यार 40 मिनट पहले पढ़ाए, अब नेक्स्ट वाले 40 मिनट्स और 80 मिनट्स में क्या बच्चों को कराएं. कई बार तो कुछ सबसे के लिए टीचर्स जाते हैं, उसे अपना अपना काम कर लो, हेड डाउन कर लो, कुछ ड्राइंग कर लो, व्हाटएवर, रीडिंग कर लो. आई मीन, वी आर नॉट एबल टू engage the same in our classes, right? So another option is, I was coasting and trying to get away with doing as little work as possible. बहुत बार ये होता है कि बच्चे हम जो पढ़ा रहे हैं वो धीरे धीरे हमारे साथ साथ उतना समझ रहे हैं कि जितना हम समझा रहे हैं उसमें से थोड़ा थोड़ा जस्ट दे आर एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड कि व्हाट इज देयर बीइंग टॉट बाय द टीचर, राइट? ये नहीं कि कोई एंथुजियाज्म लेवल नहीं है, बस थोड़ा थोड़ा ट्रेवल साथ साथ में कर रहे हैं. आई वाज एबल टू फॉलो द टीचर. Now, I was fairly engaged throughout. I found the content interesting and the activities useful in helping me remember it. We see we conduct number of activities in our classes, and the children, they take enthusiasm to learn. They get engaged in their class and they retain the same for a longer period of time because they will be able to relate the same with the real life, so those kinds of activities. Now, I was held back by negative attitudes about myself, my own abilities, my potential, my lack of confidence reduces my engagement. You see, it happens most of the time in our class. If I talk about in a 40 students class, there must be 8 to 10 students who must be having negative thoughts about themselves, about their achievement, about their learning. Like they have such kinds of thought that they cannot achieve anything in life. Now, who should be held responsible for that? Somewhere we are also responsible for that, my lovely educators. यहाँ पर हम ठीक है responsibility की reason की बात नहीं कर रहे, but at least we'll get to know there are few children. We need to talk about that. We need to understand like the child's thinking. If the child is thinking like I was not able to understand because of my attitude, I have got a negative attitude. I don't have any confidence on my abilities. बहुत बार बच्चे क्लास में shy feel करते हैं, वो आगे forward, they don't come forward for different questions, for different activities. उनको लगता है कि शायद अगर मैंने ऐसा कुछ किया हो सकता, my teacher may scold me, और मेरे peer group जो है they may start mocking at me. So ये सब चीजें नहीं होनी चाहिए. Right? For that we should also understand कहीं ना कहीं हम भी कहीं रिस्पॉन्सिबल होते हैं. बच्चे 2 साल के गैप के बाद हमारे पास आए हैं. 6 महीने ठीक है उनको स्कूल में आते हुए हो गए, बट सी उनका जो गैप है वो इतनी जल्दी कवर नहीं होगा जो 2 साल का गैप है, जो उन्होंने क्लासेस नहीं अटेंड करी है. और कहीं ना कहीं जब वो ऐसा कुछ क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं, बहुत बार कई टीचर उनको क्लासेस में कह देते हैं बड़ा सिली क्वेश्चन यू हैव आस्क्ड, आपको इतना भी नहीं पता, 8 स्टैंडर्ड के बच्चे हो, 6 का भी आपको अभी तक कॉन्सेप्ट की क्लैरिटी नहीं है. अरे नहीं है, तभी तो बच्चा पूछ रहा है. तो वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड वेयर दे आर. Accordingly we will be able to facilitate their learning, right? वो जो learning gap है उसको bridge हमने सबने मिलकर करना है. That is the responsibility of the teachers, right? Along with the parents and the students, with the help from the management also, because we need to give extra time to our students. We need to facilitate their learning in their way, right? So accordingly we all together can make a bridge for our children to easily walk on, right? So my lovely educators, now next is, which metacognitive skill set do you need to develop the most? बच्चों से पूछ रहे कौन सी मेटाकॉग्निशन स्किल जो अपने बारे में, अपनी सोच की प्रक्रिया के बारे में जागरूकता है, उसके में किसके ऊपर उनको ज्यादा फोकस करने की जरूरत है. What are they thinking? Reading skills such as deep reading, speed reading, being able to fully engage with the text. मुझे लगता है मुझे अपनी reading skills को improve करना होगा, right? And some of the students they might think कि मैं टीचर के जो टीचर मुझे समझा रही है उसको मैं अच्छे से grasp नहीं कर पा रहा. Being able to listen with full attention so as to be able to better absorb information, right? बहुत बार हम जो मेरी reading strategies की videos हैं उसमें मैंने already share किया हुआ है. Skimming है, scanning है, different forms of reading is there. तो बच्चों को ये समझ आना चाहिए कि कौन सी strategy को कहाँ use करना है. Newspaper पढ़ते हैं तो क्या strategy होनी चाहिए, they have to understand the gist. जरूरी नहीं हर word का meaning उनको समझ में आए, right? स्कैनिंग कहाँ पे यूज करते हैं, स्किमिंग कहाँ यूज करते हैं, तो डिफरेंट स्ट्रैटेजीज को आपको क्लास में डिस्कस करना है. सेल्फ रेगुलेशन एंड मेंटल डिसिप्लिन, यू सी दैट इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. इफ द चाइल्ड थिंक्स आई नीड टू लर्न to regulate my thoughts and feelings so that I can focus more on learning, nothing like that. If we are not mentally active, if we are not you see mentally strong or disciplined, we won't be able to focus on what is going on in the class because we are not ready to learn. Now, interpersonal and teamwork skills. You see, in our classes, most of the time, there are some children who perform better when they have been assigned any task to do independently. And when they are working in a group, either they don't cooperate, maybe they have some behavioral issues, they have some ego issues, and sometimes they feel shy also. They think like, अगर मेरे से कोई गलती होगी तो मेरे पीयर ग्रुप में बाकी के स्टूडेंट्स वो क्या कहेंगे मेरे बारे में, मेरे को ये नहीं आता, मैंने गलती कर दी, तो दे डोंट कम फॉरवर्ड. So they know that they need to work more on the teamwork. They need to enhance their collaboration skills, their communication skills. तो teamwork में काम करने के लिए communication skills भी proper होनी चाहिए and collaboration भी होना चाहिए. All the 21st century skills. So my lovely educators, make sure you use such strategies in your classes. And you see, as you can read, research has found that students who engage in metacognition and think about how they learn the best tend to outperform those who don't. If you want your students to be outstanding students, you want your children to take onus of their learning, please, my lovely educators, go ahead with such strategies in your classroom. ट्रेडिशनल टीचिंग का जमाना गया है. क्लास में जाकर आपका ऑब्जेक्टिव पाठ पढ़ाने के बाद में उसके बैक एक्सरसाइज के क्वेश्चन करा के आ जाना, वही एग्जाम में सेम क्वेश्चन पूछ लेना, नंबर दे देना, ये नहीं रहा है. We 21st century educators, we should be the co-learners, we should be the researchers. We need to research to facilitate learning in our classes. We can't regurgitate what we have learned from the textbooks in our classes. No, that education competition, we won't be able to survive in education industry, my lovely educators, if we will not enhance these skills. It's high time. Go ahead and keep watching Mentoring the Mentors if you want to know more about such kinds of innovative strategies that you can implement in your classes in order to accelerate your professional curve. So, my lovely educators, do share such videos in your educators group as well. Hit the like button. Do give your suggestions. Right? Subscribe to the channel. Till then, have a nice day. Bye bye.